From the national media on down to the guys around the water cooler, there's a whole lot of sleeping going on about this guy, and I think he deserves better. We're going to talk about him today, where he's going, and what it means for this team. Welcome back. I'm Ryan, and this is RGR. Talking Chiefs, talking some NFL. Today, it's going to be about a particular topic that is kind of near and dear to my heart, and I think you all know how I feel about the running game. And that's to separate the running game from the running backs. I still feel the running game is an important part of this game going forward, even in 2019. And clearly, Andy Reid does as well, but it's more the pass-oriented for Andy than it is for me. I like a little more balance. But I'm not one to harp on running backs because there's a lot of guys with talent out there. And I think that Damian Williams is a guy that's been completely underrated and overlooked this run-up to the season, especially by national media. Even fantasy guys who ought to know better from the numbers are discounting what Damian Williams is capable of. And I think it's a mistake. I think he is clearly a guy that the team has faith in.
We're asking him to be the full-time starter for the year, and take it one game at a time and so on. But there's a certain challenge that comes with that. That's a tough position to play. And so you got to prepare yourself on and off the field. And he's taken that challenge. He wants to do this thing, and he's earned the right to be that guy. And now it's a matter of production. You got to go do it. But it's his first opportunity to be full-time starter here.
And being that lead back is important because that's what you want to have, somebody consistent, somebody that you know has the skill set that you want. And yes, there is a lot of passing going to be required for this particular group of running backs. Now, we all know that there are a couple of drawbacks. Damian Williams isn't a guy that's played an 18-game schedule, but he did. Honestly, the three things that I think are most important when you talk about a Chiefs running back playing for Andy Reid, especially in 2019. He catches the ball really well. He runs with authority when he gets in the open field. And he's a guy that comes up and finishes strong. Now, there's all kinds of plays that you could look at. This one in particular is my favorite, I have to say, just because when you look at a highly touted player on an opposing team within your division, there's a whole lot of stuff that goes into that. And it's important that, especially in those games, teams that you have to play twice a year, that you're able to lay the law down a bit. And the running game, part of it is about that physicality. And even though Damian Williams isn't a huge guy, he's not the prototypical power back, he can do some things that I think caught some teams off guard last year. Now, it's caught the media off and has continued to, and they're ignoring him. But when he's capable of doing things like this in the open field, that's what you want to see, and that's what you want to covet. Now, there's been a lot made about the other guys around him, and for a long time, we were all thinking that it was going to be a little bit more of a timeshare. And clearly, Eric Bieniemy doesn't agree with that, and they're looking for him to be a focused, singular back. There's going to be backups. They have Hyde in here. Hyde bumped James Williams, who I'm still really high on, and I think he will catch on in another team in the league. But Carlos Hyde looks, if he's healthy, he's another guy that can catch well, can block well, and can run the ball. Same with Daryl Williams. Daryl showed you that last year. And then there's the guy that they're super high on in Darwin Thompson. They're all going to be back there, but it's clear that Damian Williams is going to get the chance to be the lead back. You want to have backups because of injuries, especially you get the little things that kind of grind up on you. But he is capable of doing the big things that they want him to do. Now, you have to understand that he had a great year in 2018, and it was set aside because of the turmoil with Kareem Hunt and him taking over late. But he did take over late, and he did take over. 10 touchdowns in the last run through the season, particularly 4 in the playoffs. And that's really critical because you need a guy that you can count on when it counts the most. And yes, he had fresh legs because he didn't play a ton in the early season, but he came on strong. You get to the playoffs, 129 yards on the ground against the Colts. Now, they had a rookie linebacker that ended up being highly, highly touted. I think he made the Pro Bowl even. Was he All-Pro? I can't remember. But tell me about Darius Leonard if I missed his accolades. Don't mean to undersell him. But a guy like that in the run game, and he still gets 129 yards. They're playing the New England Patriots. And he ends up getting 3 touchdowns. The offense went through him. And it's hard to underestimate, if you are a person that looks at the team and understands the way that Andy Reid runs this, how much effect that Damian Williams is ready to have in 2019. He's a guy that can do everything you want. And yes, the pass game is going to be more important. I don't think they're going to up their percentage of run drastically. They might get a little bit just out of necessity with the tight end situation and what coverage is going to look like with Hill. Hill and Watkins being back, and we know that there's going to be a suspension of some kind, at least that's what we're hearing at this point. It's going to change a little bit of the focus, but being able to throw the ball to the backs out of the backfield, the screen game in particular, is going to be critical. And Damian Williams is the guy that's going to reap the biggest rewards from it because he's the first man up. He's going to always be the go-to guy. Much like others have been in the past, he will get filled in for. There will be times. There will be games. Especially if you feel you want to grind it out, put Daryl or Carlos Hyde in there. They can run between the tackles a little bit more stoutly, and I think that will save some tread on Damian Williams. It will be an exercise for Andy Reid to kind of keep his snap levels and how much usage, how many touches he gets through the season so that he can repeat what he did in 2018 and be a playoff force when they get into the postseason. And I think that's a great way to go about it. I think they have a good stable of 4 backs. I think right now I'm leaning towards 4 backs making the 53-man roster. If you missed our roster rundown, Chris and I went through it on the Locked On Chiefs podcast this week. Go back and check that out. And that's a pre-camp look. Obviously, things change sometimes in camp. Injuries, snap counts, everything. We'll revisit that later. But right now, Damian Williams is a guy that can't be slept on. Let the national media do it, but don't you do it. He's going to be a guy that you're going to be hearing a lot from, so keep an eye out for him. I'm really optimistic. I feel like 1,500 yards for a season isn't out of the question, and I feel like he's going to up that touchdown total fairly dramatically is my thought. Let me know what you think, though. If you have a strong feeling one way or the other about Damian Williams or any of the other running backs, make sure you put your comments down below and let me know what you think of this video in this format. If you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscription and the little notification bell, set that up so that you know when a new video goes up and when I go live, because we do a lot of Q&A around here on Monday nights, and we're going to continue that. Camp's getting closer every day, and I'm going to have more for you in the coming weeks. Make sure you check out these 2 videos for more in-depth information. Thanks for watching today, and I'll check you out next time.